Welcome to your angel messages and overall energy update. So let's jump into this Celtic cross that I have all ready for you here to go. Ready to go here for you. That's where I was going with that sentence. I have at the heart of our spread here, we have the 3 of air. Great sadness, take time to heal, the need to forgive yourself or others. All right, so at the time you're hearing these messages, you're wondering if you've spent enough time healing through something or if you need to take more time. Or for some of you, you have recently or in the recent past gone through some kind of heartbreak. Something didn't turn out the way you wanted. Maybe you learned something that caused you to look at somebody differently or have to change your plans. This is also a situation where maybe you had your heart set on buying a certain house and the sale fell through. You had your heart set on a certain job promotion or collaboration and that fell through. And the angels are acknowledging that you are still having some pain over this loss. There is still some heartbreak here, but this is something you can learn from. So we're going to go into the challenge energy here to see how you can work through this challenge. And we have the release card. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. It says Archangel Azrael, the end of a situation, end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, and time to move on. So I am getting for a lot of you that it's been really hard to move on from this heartbreak. Maybe it was a relationship that you thought was going to be your life partner, and it's been really hard to move on from the breakup. It could be, again, a sudden job loss, a sudden change that you have heartbreak over, but it's been hard for you to move on from it because there's still so much healing that needs to be done. So let's see what's coming up in the root of our spread to get a little guidance about what's unknown, what's going on subconsciously. Subconsciously, we have the 10 of water here. We have a contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional material needs are met. Trustworthy relationships. So yeah, a lot of these messages coming through are around relationships. Again, this may not just be romantic. It could be a boss, a colleague, a best friend, a parent, child, or some good friend of yours. But there is a trustworthy relationship in your energy field now that can help you nurture your emotions and nurture yourself through this. So lean on those around you that are trustworthy to help heal. And these energies are around you. These people are around you. So who was the first person that came to mind when I said who in your life is trustworthy for you to lean on them a little bit and help nurture you through these different challenges you're going through where you're having a hard time moving on? We want to focus on the people who reciprocate our love, reciprocate our energy, and that will also help. Now, this also for some of you does actually mean just spending more time with your family, maybe planning a trip to visit family if you haven't in a long time, going back to your home as a child that were a place or a vacation spot where you always felt nurtured. This is going to be what really helps you with nurturing through this heartbreak and helps you move on. It's again giving you that opportunity for hindsight that I like to say. I've been saying this a lot recently because it's been a big part of my spiritual transformation this year is I've been rereading a lot of my old journals from 2016 and 2017. And one of the messages I've been getting a lot from my angels is, hey, watch out for romanticizing the past. And I know you all have been getting those messages as well, where you're remembering something better than it really actually was. And while it's okay to remember the good things about people or the good things about situations, we don't want to harp on the negative things. We do also want to be careful that we're not romanticizing it and we're not saying, oh, but it was just always so nice to come home to that one person. But really, were you that happy when you were with that person? Or it was always so nice to go back to that same vacation spot every year. But really, if you're being honest, it was starting to deteriorate. It was costing too much money. There are things like that that you can look back on and go, all right, am I really the same person as I was back then? And would I view it that way now? And of course, you're not the same person, right? Because we're always growing and changing. So let's go into the recent past here to get some more clarity. We have the World card, a job well done, joy, contentment, gratitude, the path toward enlightenment. Wow, this is wonderful. Something you have really shifted in your world is helping you on your path forward. And actually, what they're showing me is that heartbreak and that thing that came to your awareness is what's helping you change your environment, change your world, change the people you are involved with. And yes, the challenge has been to move on from that relationship, move on from that job, move on from that location. That may be a challenge right now, but you've seen things differently in the world. You are seeing things differently in the world, and this is the path towards enlightenment. So the angels are commending you for focusing on your spiritual transformation and the path towards enlightenment, which you've already been doing. That's why you're here, right? So let's look to see what's going on in the present energy. We have the Four of Fire. The Four of Fire says contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life. Look at that validation in the crown and the root, the successful completion of a project. Wow, I really, really love this energy, because what it's letting you know is when you spend time enjoying your life with your family, with your loved ones, with trustworthy relationships, it allows you to view the world differently. Any heartbreak that you're able to view differently is going to help you with moving forward. Now, like I said, in this present energy here, it is talking about the successful completion of a project, and it sounds like some of you have actually put something out into the world that you've been working on. Maybe you've been working on it in the background on weekends and evenings, and you finally put it out there. Did you just release a podcast? Did you just start a YouTube channel or release a book? Or you're actually finally putting it into action. Maybe you haven't released it yet, but you are viewing the world differently. And at the time you're hearing these messages, there is this opportunity to really celebrate the completion of this creative project. So I love this energy for right now and this time of year, where it's really important to celebrate, right? And be content with the work you've done so far, right? And that's why they were talking about the heartbreak there is, you went through that to help you elevate your spiritual transformation, even if it still brings up some old wounds. So let's see what's coming up in the near future here. And of course, we will be breaking all of this down so you can get even more clarity. But in the near future, we have the Page of Water, intuitive, sensitive, artistic, friendly, a new person enters your life, a relationship begins a new phase, heightened psychic abilities. I love this card for coming up in the near future for all of you, because it does mean some of you are drawing in new partnerships that are going to help you really expand the creative projects you're doing, or expand your happy home life if you are looking for that ideal romantic partner. Where you do have this 10 of Water card in the subconscious area, it means you are attracting that ideal partner right now. You have to keep focusing on your creativity. So we have that present energy of Four of Wands. We don't want to sit around and wait for this person to show up in our life. We want to keep working on our passions. By working on the things that make you feel passionate right now, that automatically law of attracts that ideal partner. Now, for some of you doing this work, it's somebody already in your life where you're going to be able to really increase your work together or your partnership. Maybe you're taking it from a friendship to a romantic partnership. But also for a lot of you, this is really you taking your psychic abilities to the next level. Up until this point, maybe you weren't very confident in it, but because you're following your passion, because you're working on healing from your past, you are now beginning to trust your psychic abilities on a new level. Now, there are a few people out there that this is a younger person coming into your life that's going to help you tap into those psychic abilities, who's going to help you bring that emotional stability to your home life. So if you're expecting a child or a grandchild, or maybe you're not, this is a surprise coming in, but this is also a person coming into your life that is going to help you with the things that you are doing for your own path towards enlightenment, and the things that we all came here to do to help raise the vibration of the planet and create unity. So let's see what's coming up in your personal power here. In your personal power, we have the Justice card. Look at that. Just fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. Okay, this is your personal power here. It says it's time to move on. It says you have this heartbreak here. Where do you get the power? You do what you know is right. So let's do a pocket affirmation here. Write it in the comment section below if you feel called to. I easily stand up for my heart. I easily stand up for my heart. okay? And you can add and beliefs if you want to. But what's important to remember here is you've had this heartbreak that you're trying to overcome. But by moving on, by focusing on your passions, you are standing up for what your heart wants, and you're not staying in that energy that was not reciprocating the love. And that's really what I'm getting, is there is a person or a situation that caused you some heartbreak, but it was not returning the love you were putting into it. So by standing up for what's right for your heart and moving in the direction that's right for your heart, that's going to help you stand in that personal power. So I really think that's going to be a valuable thing to keep in mind as you're continuing to work on these projects and you're calling in these new relationships. So let's see what's coming in for the external factors here. We have the Knight of Air, intelligent, decisive, idealistic. That's an interesting thing that popped on me. I'm going to have to talk about that in a minute. Events that occur with great speed, take time to carefully review your options, creative solutions. All right, so this energy coming through for me, it's, I feel like you're going to be moving in a new direction, and it's going to cause people around you to have a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, or it might even make you feel impulsive because you're realizing what your heart really wants. You're realizing what you want to move away from. And so just be careful not to be impulsive, right? It's the example I use. It's like you realize you've been in this dead-end job. You're never going to get the promotion. Your boss never sees you. Your colleagues never cooperate. That doesn't mean we're just walking in that day and quitting our job, right? That's impulsive. What you want to do is plan things out, but you do want to stand up for what you know is right. That's why we have this justice card. So it might be time to start making those plans to exit that environment. It could be exiting a relationship. And, again, we're not being impulsive and cutting people off at their knees, but we are having compassion and slowing down and having those heart-to-heart conversations. It could also mean setting those boundaries with those people who tend to be impulsive around you, who get you off your track. So I am getting, for some of you, this is where you sit down to finally work on that book or finally work on that creative project or do something you really enjoy. And your friend calls you up and is like, hey, let's go do this, this, and this. And you're like, oh, I really don't want to. I just sat down to do this. Oh, come on. You've got time. You're retired, or you've got the day off. You've got time. And they're impulsive. You want to watch out for that. Set boundaries around your energy. I felt like some of you really needed to hear that. Protect your creative space. Hold space in your calendar for your creative time. Okay, that's really important here. So let's see what's coming up in the hopes and fears, and then we'll get to the outcome, and then we'll break it down for all of you. For our hopes and fears, we have the Two of Water card, a relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, the positive resolution of a conflict. So look at that. That's all of this energy around relationships coming through here is letting you know that you can find creative solutions. You are hoping to do that. For some of you, you think a relationship has to end in order for things to get better, but it's possible to find creative solutions. For some of you, though, this new person coming in, this younger person is going to help you see, hey, that isn't a good environment for you to be in. That is not a good relationship to be in. And you're going to realize, you know what? The best resolution for this is for me to walk away. So you'll know what that is for you. And it doesn't have to be a big dramatic ending. This could be choosing to, go to a different yoga studio because you're just not really vibing with the yoga instructor, right? It's just the end of that relationship and you're moving to a different yoga instructor, right? So it doesn't have to be these big dramatic things, but most of the time you know who it is. As soon as you hear these messages, somebody pops into your mind. So definitely make sure you are writing that down, tracking it, creating your book of evidence, okay? So let's see what's going into your final outcome here. In your final outcome, we have the life experience card. You can't make this stuff up. This is the Tower card in the tarot. It says a significant life event, a powerful revelation, the change that leads, powerful revolution that leads to change, time to spread your wings. Yep. This is what it's saying here. It's time to move on from this heartbreak, okay? We've got to stop sitting in the past saying, oh, this person did this to me, or, oh, I wish I would have done this, or, oh, that was the one that got away. We have to shift that thinking. But a lot of that's going to come through this healing and this process of working on your creative project. So the ultimate message that's coming through with this Celtic cross, and of course we will break it down to get more validation, is go focus on the things that make you feel passion, the things that light you up, the things that get you out of bed in the morning. Go focus on those things. It's going to bring in these powerful revelations. It's going to bring in these new partners, these new opportunities to grow. And remember that your personal power is standing up for what you know is right. So I love that for the overall energy here. So powerful. I'm getting angel bumps all down my right leg. Do you ever pay attention to like where you get the angel bumps? If you haven't, start. If you do, make sure you're writing it down. Either way, write it down, right? Because I've noticed I'll get angel bumps in different spots, or when it's like a huge revelation, like we were just talking about with the Tower card, it'll be full body. It'll be full body. Like, keep going. You are spot on with that. So now I'm going to pull some cards, 3 cards from 3 different decks to break it down even further. And while I'm doing that, I'd like to ask you if these messages are resonating with you. If you would please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Share this video with anybody you think it would resonate. If anybody popped into your mind like, oh, this friend of mine needs to hear this, my daughter needs to hear this, and you think it would resonate, I'd love it if you'd share this video. It means so much to me. It helps my channel grow. And as always, I absolutely love reading your comments. So please, 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 put your comments below. I love it so much. And thank you to so many of you who have been asking for private readings. At this time, I am not offering one-on-one readings because of other big projects I'm working on. That's why I try to do these messages as often as I can on YouTube to help you with that. And I, of course, do my lives on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central, so I can answer questions in there as well. All right, let's go over this deck here. I'm so excited. This is a new deck. These 2 decks I've never used on this channel before. And this deck I've almost never used. So this is a deck by Radley Valentine. It's either the Archangel or the Guardian Angel. I don't remember at the top of my head. This is a card deck I purchased in Sedona, and it's actually all places in Sedona, Arizona. And then this is the Kyle Gray deck. I think it's the Angel Prayers one, but I know it's an angel deck by Kyle Gray. All right, let's pop in here and see what we have for this first row. We will pull it all together. We have the Ace of Earth card. Look at that. Abundance, opportunity, resources. Yeah, there's something that you are investing in that protects your resources. It's going to protect the projects you're working on. It's an investment, but you've got to get started. You've got to be grounded. So let's see what's coming up for the Sedona card here. I'm so excited to use these cards. It says it's the 8 card Thunder Mountain. Let it bounce off. Ooh, beautiful. If I'm not mistaken, you guys let me know in the comments if you know this to be true. This is the rock or mountain in I should hold it here. This is the Rocker Mountain, Thunder Mountain in Arizona, that in Sedona, that Walt Disney based their roller coaster Thunder Mountain on. And I was told by a tour guide out there that Walt Disney would send his creatives out to Sedona whenever they were creatively blocked. He would send them on a retreat to Sedona because the energy is so beautiful there. And then they would come back with all this amazing creative energy. And apparently, if I'm saying this correctly, it could be a different one. It might be Chimney Rock. I don't remember, but I think it was Thunder Mountain because that's the name of the roller coaster that I loved as a kid at Disney World. That it's kind of based on the shape of Thunder Mountain. Isn't that a cool little tip there? All right, moving on to the next card here, we have spiritual support. And it says, "Dear angels, I allow you to support me as I grow to become more spiritually aware." Look at that. And this Thunder Mountain card where it says, let it bounce off, I think it's kind of like, it's basically saying you're going to invest in what your heart wants. And when people come at you, like we had that impulsive energy, saying, hey, you can't do that. You can't quit that job, or you can't leave me. You won't find somebody who supports you the way I do. Let it bounce off. We're not going to let that energy affect where our heart wants to go in doing what we know is right. But also allow the spiritual support to come in. Ask your spiritual team for guidance and let them guide you on your path one step at a time, and they will reveal it for you. So what do we have in the second row here? We have the Page of Fire, another new energy coming in, creative, enthusiastic, motivated. I love it with the crossing energy here with this Thunder Mountain and how we were just talking about the creative energy that you can experience in Sedona. And since this is the Sedona cards here, let's see what the next card is coming up. We have a Roadrunner card. It says trust and knowledge. Yeah, this is something that we are investing in, and we are going to be learning new things about our passions and our creativity, and it's going to help us to be able to gain some knowledge about where we're headed. In fact, what I'm also seeing is there is still something from that heartbreak in the past that if you would do some journaling about it, do some meditating on it, do some reflecting, there's still some knowledge in there about why it ended or why it happened that's going to help you with growing, okay? So let's see what's coming up for the Kyle Gray deck. We have Peaceful Warrior. Let me hold this differently here. It says, thank you, Ariel, for helping me stand my ground with peace. So yeah, we have that card right there in the personal power about justice, doing what you know is right. We're doing it in a peaceful manner, right? So if we are having to leave a job, leave a relationship, end something, we want to do it in that peaceful way. So let's see what's coming up in the third row. We'll pull it all together and of course have your bonus messages so that you can have some actions to take. We have the Queen of Fire. Look at that, another fire card, intelligent, exuberant, determined. I love it when this card comes in certain locations where it shows me there is somebody coming into your life that has mastered the art of following their passions, all right? So again, there are trustworthy relationships in your life right now. Who pops into your mind when you think of somebody who follows their heart, follows their passions? This is somebody you need to be spending some time with, or it could be somebody on YouTube that you follow their channel and you follow the things they do and you get inspired by them. But look to others to inspire you as you stand your ground and you are this peaceful warrior here. Let's see what's coming up in the Sedona for the third card for the Sedona deck. We have, I love green lizard. What do we have here? Lizard. The unexpected. Interesting. And I don't know this deck that well, but because I've only used it, I think once ever, like even privately. This is my first time using it on this channel, but I do really love this deck and I love the energy, and actually buying it in Sedona as a deck on Sedona was super cool. And I read intuitively. So that's why I don't sit there and like memorize the guidebook, because to me, that just messes me up. I'd rather read intuitively. And I am getting the unexpected here card here is, there is something that's going to surprise you, that's going to kind of come out of the woodworks. Like, have you ever seen a lizard appear from behind something and you're like, how did that lizard even fit behind there? That happens to me all the time in my garden. So let's see what's coming up in the final card here so we can pull it all together. We have the Divine Physician, Archangel Raphael. Thank you, Raphael, for shining your divine light upon my healthy body. Yeah, so again, going back to that healing situation, maybe there is still some body work you need to do. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a healthcare advisor, but maybe there is some where in your body where you're still holding pain from that past heartbreak. And it could be important to start doing something differently to help address that pain. Where in your body are you holding on to that, right? So let's pull all of this together. It looks to me that there is some good things coming in for you. As we said, with these new partnerships, the key is find that inspiration and keep going with it, right? It's going to bring in these new opportunities. And again, I encourage you, go find somebody, either somebody in your physical life or somebody online that is doing what you want to do, and get inspired, right? I always like to share the story about when I'm getting ready to start decorating for Christmas. One of my favorite things to do, I will go online and watch some of my favorite decorators. There's one lady I really enjoy, Rebecca Robeson, who does these huge Christmas video series. And so starting in September or October, I will start watching her videos and start getting inspired, start getting the juices ready. So when I'm ready to decorate, I've got all these ideas. And what's so fun is I take all the decorations I've had for years and I use them differently, and it makes the house feel totally differently. So that's because I have that inspiration there to do things differently. So I really, really think this is all just affirming that if you continue what you've already been doing, which is working on the things that bring you passion, that get you out of bed in the mornings, that keep you up at night thinking about how excited you are. Of course, we do need our sleep, but I mean, that's going to be what really helps you move through this heartbreak and move on from this relationship, this job, this situation, something that just, really wasn't in your highest interest. All right, so this is going to be your bonus messages here: present, near future, future, and the 2 actions to take. All right, what do we have for the, the current present energy here? We have the 9 of Earth. Enjoying life's little luxuries, spending quiet time alone, successful self-employment. So yeah, right now it's important to spend that time alone, doing that self-discovery. If you are somebody who's wanting to start your own business, or you already have your own business, spend more time on that. Like I said, watch out for those impulsive people calling you up and saying, hey, let's go grab a beer. It's Friday night. And you're like, no, I already planned the afternoon. I'm doing this. And stand your ground on that, right? Do what you know is right. That's what that personal power energy was earlier. Coming up in the near future, this could be later today, tonight, tomorrow. We have the 6 of Water. This is acknowledging again, relationships changing. It says memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, romanticizing the past. What was I literally saying at the beginning of this video? There's some romanticizing of the past going on with this heartbreak. There's something that you need to do the self-discovery, do the self-reflection, and ask yourself, am I really being honest with myself about the way things were? Now, it doesn't mean we're blaming people, pointing fingers. It doesn't mean we're changing what actually happened. We're just being honest with ourselves about, is the person I am now the person I was then, which none of us are because we always change and grow, but would I even be able to tolerate that anymore? Or was I tolerating it and not being honest with myself about that? So let's see what's coming up in the future. We have the 9 of Water here. It says your wishes come true, concerns fade away, a love of life. So yeah, by doing this work, you are going to find that you are going to end up in that place of really embracing life's little luxuries, having that emotional growth, and understanding, you know what, I am grateful for those experiences. It might have caused great sadness. It might have caused heartbreak, but it's time to move in a new direction and use what I learned from that to grow and follow my heart's passions. So let's see what's coming up for your 2 action cards before we wrap up here. The first card we have is the 6 of Earth. Remember, we had that Ace of Earth card earlier in the breakdown. It says gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan, or paying off debt. Yeah, so the action to take right now is to activate that giving and receiving cycle. If you want to start a business, but you're not sure if you have everything you need, practice. Offer it in a barter with somebody else. I always talk about when I would go offer angel readings to friends and family or to colleagues in exchange for something so that I could practice it and I could get the validation. So start activating that giving and receiving cycle right now. And of course, bringing balance to your material resources means we're not running out and quitting our job and starting our new business all in one day, right? We're planning it. We're setting aside money. We're having balance to that, right? It might be that you need to keep that day job for a while so that you can keep building that business of yours or whatever. If you're retired, this could be something else in your life where you're just feeling out of balance with where you're spending your time. Remember what I said about people being impulsive and stopping by the house last minute to see if you want to chat and you were just sitting down to finally paint. This could be anything you want to do, protecting that space, bring balance to that. And the final action we have to take here is the 4 of Water card. Missing an opportunity, discontentment, boredom, open your eyes to the possibility. Now, since this is an action card, that's literally the action. Open your eyes to all the possibilities for you if you move on from this heartbreak, if you follow those passions, if you do what you know in your heart is right. What does that mean for you? I absolutely love these messages. Thank you all for being here. And remember, take time every day to connect with the angels.